Hi, and welcome back to my Allen Bradley PLC test bench. In this video, which is a continuation of the other one where I discuss the wiring arms and how I do them, I'm going to show you how I wire up both the 20 pin and the 36 pin arms, the TBNH and the TBCH. So we start out with, we'll be doing a 19 conductor cable, 18 gauge, onto this 20 pin arm. Now, I use a nice long quality Allen T&B tie wrap for holding them in. Now, yes, it looks like a really long thing and there's a lot you trim off, but when you put it on there, you want to make sure where this is trimmed that this edge here, and we'll just zoom in a little more to make it easier to see. There, that's not too bad. So we want this edge here to come up and just touch, show you on this one, touch this point here. And you want this tight. Now if you're using a short one and you got to get a pair of pliers on it, it's really hard. This way you can get your hand on there, and as you can see, I put a lot of pressure on there. That's not going to slide out, it's going to stay there forever. Now I also use this nice small flush cut cutters for trimming on my tie wraps. So now, see how I trimmed that off? There's no sharp part to cut your finger and make you go to first aid. So now that that part is done and out of the way, we can start into wiring the arm. Now, this is my standard wiring arm color code. As you can see here, I've got a jumper. It's in yellow, but because it's a white jumper, that goes from 19 to 9. On the 20 pin arms on all cards except for I think one, that is the common on this side of the card. It's pins 9 and 19 jumpered together. On the other side, 10 and 20 are the hot or high on the cards, and in this case we have two lines coming down to be terminated into a single terminal. So that's the basis of how I do it. Now we'll just start out, and I always start at the bottom of the card. It just makes it so much easier, and depending on how you've rotated this and where it is, take and start this row first, and I always give myself a little bit extra on the bottom. I usually have a garbage box below me so that all the trimmings go in it, but since the camera's in the way. And carry on. The first couple a little difficult sometimes to get in there. Now you want this to be, again, snug but not over tight. I always give it a little bit of a snug, and you know it's in there. And then you go to the next one and carry on. Now normally, you see how this one's here, I try and get that lined up with there, and then on this side I cut the wire so it ends up right about there, so that you don't have an excessive amount of wire to try and fold in at the end. So this is just a matter of just carrying on, doing it every time. This is a number 2 Phillips. Just happens to be a handy little item that I've had since 1982. So that's 40 years old I've had this snap-on screwdriver. So anyhow, it's a matter of just carrying on, keep doing what I'm doing until I get all 19 or 20 of them on there. And so what I'll do is I'll stop the camera, until I get back up to the jumper on the far side, which is our 9 and 19, and just show you how I get that one laid in there. And then come back at the end when I show you how I like to get it finished up. So when we come back, this side will be wired and we'll start here. Right back. Okay, here we are back. This side is wired. Now what I've done, when I started out, this cable was over on this side. When I get down here, I just kind of bring it over and I take a jumper, in this case a white jumper because it's a white cable that's in there, and start out by putting this one right in there. Now, because of angles and arthritis, it can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge. Now, we're going up to terminal 9, and you want to bring this loop so that the back of the loop is just about in line with the edge of the wiring arm. Just keeps things from getting too bulky when you're done. Save that piece of wire for the next one. Okay, put it in the bottom there. And then take your second one, same thing, trim it there, and that's almost long enough, but not quite for another card later. And holding them in with your finger, and then down. So there's that one. And then we just carry on with wiring the card. Now if you can, try not to cross too many times over top of each other, because if you do, you end up with a large bundle down here that makes it difficult to maneuver, shall we say, and get the cover on and off. Okay, so there's that part to begin with, and again, same thing, just carry on ad nauseum. We will be back in a minute when we get to the end of this card, or this wiring arm 4 cards, and discuss it. Now, just before we carry on, yes, you can use ferrules. There is nothing wrong with using ferrules. In fact, I really like them. But these terminals are designed for wires without ferrules. You can use them either way. It's not a big deal. On the 20-pin card, using ferrules of any description that you like, either insulated or non-insulated. But just be careful if you use ferrules, especially on the bottom, that you may run out of room and have trouble getting the wiring cover on, which would really make you want to scream and remove all the wires and start from scratch, which is not a good thing. So anyhow, back in about 2 minutes. Okay, so here we are back at the last terminal, right there. And we'll just bring that back out. Okay, so this is my last wire out of the 19. And again, ferrules are nice. They do take care of the problem of the strands that come running away out from you, but you have to be careful with them. So now you want to be able to put on your cover. And in this case, it's just your standard size cover. And with covers, be careful with them. You pull them, I put my thumb there and pull up there, because I've seen many of these that are broken here and they don't stay closed anymore. So we'll just set that down for the side. Now you take, what I do is I take and bring it up like that into the center, and then if you're only doing one and never again. But I use my leather glove here, and it's tight in there. You see how it's in the center? And just take and work it down so that it's flat. Now you see how the red and black at the very last one was sticking up beyond there? Just fold it over. Sometimes you'll have one or two like that. Take your cover that's closed and locked, and we'll just back off on the camera just a bit. Okay, so now you can see on there, see how that's all nice and flattened down. Take your cover, slide it on. You see how it just slides right over top, no problem. Clicks at the end, and you are done. The 20-pin wiring arm. And then I usually just coil them up and to an appropriate size, like that. Sometimes I'll put an additional tie wrap on, and these are the really inexpensive ones you can buy at the really cheap dollar stores or something like that, depending on where you are. And I just leave that on there, and the customer, when they get it, can recycle that themselves. So there we go. That's the TBNH screw cover or screw terminal wiring arm wired up. So this is going to be more than 2 videos. The next one we're going to do, we'll just set that off to the side, and we'll start another video that shows wiring of the analog wiring arm, single-ended, for doing single-ended current on a 1756 IF16 analog input module. And this is going to be wired for single-ended current. So, thanks for watching this one. Hopefully that was somewhat informative. It's a wiring arm after all. So, come back anytime, subscribe if you'd like, and we'll see you on the next one.